What you doing, Josh?
Oh, this morning I got Penny up here while I do some stuff around the house. We're gonna work on just doing some basic around the house stuff because when you have a baby, you're gonna want to have a little structure in the house. So yes, we have place and that's gonna be amazing. And I'm pretty sure that the owners are pretty well educated with how to use place. It's pretty simple. You put the dog on there. She's not to get off until you release her. That's awesome. I will be sweeping and making sure she can do that. She's doing really good. Another thing is just to make sure that she can get off in the bed and follow you to another location in the house in a structured way. Nice and quiet, nothing frantic, nothing crazy, and just make sure she can move around. So the way we do that is, of course, we have our recall where I could be standing on the other side of the room and I could recall her to me. But she might run or something, and if you need things to be controlled and quiet, you're gonna walk up to her and you're gonna actually heel her and walk her just like you would outside in a heel around the house to the next location. That way you have that control. You got the baby. When the baby first comes home, it's not so difficult, I don't think, because the baby can't move. But give it some time, and next thing you know, you got the toddler walking all over the place, you got the dog all over the place, and there could be some bump-ins. So if we need to keep control over her, we can have a way to move her around in a controlled fashion. So we'll make sure she can do that. Everything I've tested her on so far, like walking and everything, she's just doing it all the way that we trained her to. So she's actually doing it really well. She remembered everything. There wasn't a whole lot of adjustment that I'm seeing with her, even though she's doing all this on her own right now. So I'll sweep. I don't think she's gonna have any trouble here.
Yeah, we're
If
just
I
kind
had
of
a baby, I would use it, but I don't have one.
we're just kind of making sure she can take a back seat and watch things go on around her instead of jumping all over, barking,
She has
pacing
that
around the
stuff.
house, huh?
Does she have any issues with that?
Jumping?
Is jumping an issue?
Yeah.
Barking an
Yeah,
issue?
yeah.
Really?
Jumping, yeah.
Jumping, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so another thing to practice, and this would be good to practice before the baby comes and also while the baby's super young before it starts running around the house, you know. You're gonna wanna practice having her separate when you're spending time as a family, giving her something to do. So if she's on place, you're gonna wanna practice just sitting on the couch and seeing if she can take the back seat in that regard. I don't think sweeping is gonna be as difficult as, oh, the family's on the couch and I'm being asked to be over here.
Yep.
That might be a bit of an issue. Or, you know, you're playing with the baby and can she hold still, you know? So this is where your mind's gonna be. In the house, very easy. Place is simple. You got your downstays, you got the kennel. Of course, there's the in-between stuff eventually, you know, down the road, way down the road. I'm sure there's gonna be a time where the baby's gonna become a toddler, get to that 5 years old, 6 years old stage. They'll be interacting more. But in the beginning, you know, they're not going to be interacting like that. So they're just going to be existing in the same room. She's going to be able to watch you with the baby, see all that. Because I know there's a lot of concern of like dogs. People want the dog to see the baby as part of the family. They will if you take the approach of saying, this is my baby. Because if you think about it this way, dogs look at everything as resources, right? So if you kind of, this might sound strange, but if you, in a sense, kind of claim the baby, and you know, this is our thing, this is our baby, it's just like you claiming anything else. So she'll leave it alone if you behave that way to say, this is ours, right? If you say, this is yours, that's where people run into trouble. Like, look, this is your brother or sister, this is your friend, this is for you. That's where you could run into issues. Now, I don't know Penny that well when it comes to how she's going to behave around kids. I haven't tested her like that. But most dogs, if you say this is yours and you're involved, you're going to have some type of issue.
Yep.
Whether, you know, obviously on the extreme end, there's nips and things like that. But even on the mild end, it's like a dog
Whining.
who jumps on the baby out of excitement. Or just paws the baby out of just being playful, but they just do this and now your baby's got a scratch or something. So it's more like, this is ours, we love you, we love the baby's ours, you stay over there, and there's a separation, there's a boundary. And what you'll see is a dog, from a distance, observe you with the baby. Smell the baby from a distance. It doesn't need to get up on its head and smell the head and smell the armpits and all that. She can smell it. She'll see the changes happening.
Another useful thing is the crate. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but Riggins is inside the crate right now and he's not complaining. And that's just a normal thing for him. If we put him in the crate, he goes in without complaint and he waits until we let him out. There's no barking, there's no whining, there's no anxiety.
Yeah.
He just knows when we put him in, we'll be back for you later. So that's another really helpful tool, is putting her in the crate, not feeling guilty, and just, realizing, hey, things are too hectic right now. Let's put Penny in the crate for a little while. We'll be back later when we're ready for her.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one because life gets
It does.
crazy.
Especially when people come over and you have the baby and then other people bring
It's too
kids
much.
and it's just too much. So
Don't even worry.
I don't know about you guys. We put Riggins in the crate when that stuff
we've done
happens.
Plenty of times where
Yeah.
we just, put the dogs away. Don't feel like putting on that hat right now and dealing with that extra layer of
I know a lot of people don't like the look of the wire crate. That's why I got this one that it's really nice. Actually, it looks like furniture. I got it on Facebook Marketplace for $100. The guy delivered it, and we have a nice bed in there. It also serves as a table, so that's an option if you just don't like the wire crate. Why do you think the panting's ramping up? She's thinking.
Well, this is-
Her mind is
so,
racing.
I know Penny well enough to know that she's an anxious dog, and I know that if there's a change in routine, that's what's gonna happen.
She's regulating herself,
So,
though.
But what I've noticed is she's doing all this on her own. I don't have to tell her anything. Even when this is what I was impressed with her, is that she automatically started using the coping skills that we taught her years ago to get through her stress. So you'll see her putting her chin down. You see her kind of breathing through the nose. She's doing this all on her own from her board and train as a coping skill for the anxiety. Because what would normally happen is like that turns into whining or fussiness and stepping off the bed and going and doing the thing that I'd rather do, which for her routine here, when she's boarding, her routine is kennel, play yard, hikes, kennel, play yard, hike, you know what I mean? So she knows those beats, no problem. Now we're saying this isn't just a board and stay. Come up here, and she doesn't exactly, well, this is out of the ordinary. I don't normally come and work, So then I start to see her want to go back to what she knows: kennel, yard, hike, kennel. You know what I mean? She knows that. She likes that routine. We break the routine. She's got anxiety. She's dealing with it. That was just her. I don't know what happened there. So
She saw a gnat.
but you see, she just got up here, but we brought her up yesterday too. And what happened is within 5-10 minutes, she just stabilized.
Yeah.
And then it's fine. But that's what she's doing. She's going through that's what we gave her when we trained her, is we gave her a way to deal with all this stress that she has, because Penny's a dog that she'll get really bad in her head. She'll still spinning like this and spinning like this and spinning like this, and she'll just be amped up in her own mind. And that's where you're seeing the panting is part of that. It gets worse.
The
in
hamster
panting.
wheel. Her mind is going.
It's going good.
And it's so funny because there's nothing to stress about. Literally, all we want you to do is lay on this comfy bed.
Right, but it's out of the routine.
Yes.
It's so at home, if the routine might change, things might shift. There's now a baby in the house. She's going to feel a sense of something's different. If you start to see that stress, you can apply what she learned here. You can correct the panting. You can go, if she were to get really bad right now, I would come in on the call, I'd give a little tap with a reminder, she would do this, right? Just get her used to stabilizing the mind. So that's useful. It's a good thing she's already had her board and train. The only thing I noticed that she's gonna need is something that I can't really apply here, which is she's gonna need the situation that she's going to be in to practice, which I don't have, which is an infant in the house. I have a kid who's gonna be 6 soon. That might be helpful. We can see at least something, but she's just gonna use these skills in that situation and cope like she does in any other situation. So I don't think there's gonna be too much of a problem if we're just smart about it and we just keep the distance. They don't need to be the baby. And I know the people, the owners of Penny probably aren't going to do this, but people do this, so I thought maybe I'd mention it. You don't need you don't need the baby to crawl on her to get pictures or anything like that, or to make sure that she sees it as a family member. You don't need her to cuddling with her or anything. Basically, the vibe that you're taking is this is my kid and you're my dog and we're all a family, but there's that separation of like humans and then the dog. That's gonna help her know her place. You were to just kind of watch us and take our direction. It's gonna make her feel better.
Oh, for sure.
And I don't know how she's gonna. She could be wonderfully comfortable with the child, just from the get go. Like, I feel comfortable. I'm not spooked of this thing. Or a lot of times, a lot of dogs are a little spooked of kids, especially when they start doing this around the house, and you know, it's just like, what is that thing? It's unpredictable. It's not moving right. It looks funky. That could cause a little bit of her being like, what's going on here? And that's where you're just going to go back to the relationship of like, you're leading and you can tell her, don't worry about that, do this. That'll help her get through it. That helps her get through it. And again, with anything with her or any anxious dog, give it a little time. The situation now becomes the normal and we're past it.
Yep.
But we don't want to put ourselves in any funky situations. Walking as a family, I think, is nice. I like the idea that you guys want to walk her with the stroller. I love that idea. If she's doing well, that's great. Family time, there's a little bit of separation. We can be on the couch or whatever we're doing, on the floor, whatever we're doing, hanging out with the baby. The dog's kind of here, but over there. And it's the same thing I already do with Riggins, right? He'll lay on his place bed while we have family time. So we're all right here. We're all within a few feet of each other, hanging out. So the dog's involved. But the dog's not on the couch, you know, demanding things from us. They're not being very interactive unless we've offered it. So, and that just keeps things safe. Just keeps things safe. Okay.
Wonderful job.